Welcome to Blue Talks.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I also want to thank the University of Miami for facilitating this magnificent auditorium and for you accompanying me in this presentation. I'd like to share with you an episode that happened 40 years ago, but still resonates with me as if it had happened just yesterday. It was the journey of becoming an expectant father for the first time. In the traditional culture where I grew up, men did not get involved very much with the stages of pregnancy. It was a woman's duty and responsibility to deal with it, but mostly alone, with little or no husband support. I grew up with no manual to become a participatory, expectant father. I did not have a guide to understand, manage the tsunami of emotions that come along with a pregnancy. For the female, obviously, but for the male also, is emotions, fears, doubts, questions, feelings of incompetence. That's also part of our trip as being an expectant father. Many reasons why this has not happened before, and probably today is still missing. It's that we're not trained to be conscious of the multiple aspects of a pregnancy. There is no cultural expectation that a man could express the feelings that invades him, at least not in my time. It was not a manly thing to do. One had to be strong, silent witness, but with little or no involvement. Expressing feelings and emotions was not the manly way of dealing with a pregnancy. That was not it. Had anyone here experienced anything similar or known of somebody going through that complicated stage of their life? Well, thank you, goodness, there's not too many. I am sure that the story that I'm going to share with you will resonate, hopefully, with many of you. We had an obstacle to overcome, my wife and I. We had been trying to get pregnant for a year and trying, and nothing was happening. So we decided to look for a reason. So I had a sperm count, laboratory sperm count made, and the results was that I had a low sperm count. Hey, producing 60-some million of spermatozoa was not a very low sperm count for me. It only takes one to get the job done. But it did not happen in the next 3 months of our life after having those results. So we started looking seriously for the alternative of adoption. During that time, though, my wife tells me that she thinks she's pregnant. I was hesitant to admit that was a good diagnosis of herself, Who knows, she might have been mistaken, who knows. And why? Why was I hesitant? Because I didn't want my dream of becoming a father vanishing. So I made a suggestion. Why don't you get a pregnancy test made? And she did. Bravo! The spermatozoid, the only one, did it. He got through. Pregnancy confirmation became official. Oh, I had an avalanche of sensations. It was my dream coming true. No more fear that my wife had had a mistaken intuition of the pregnancy. My hope of becoming a dad became a certainty, scientific certainty. Now, I asked myself how to participate in the pregnancy. This question allowed me to do the following reflection. How can best capture the essence of becoming an expectant father? The answer came intuitively, almost immediately. I would write a diary to my unborn son. It would capture every moment of the pregnancy in its development, but also in the impact it was having on me, on my emotions, on my feelings. I deeply felt that it was the most intimate way to communicate and connect with my unborn son. The diary became this book, Beloved Son, I am going to be your father. In it, I capture the emotions I experience stage by stage of the development of the pregnancy. What I discovered was that those emotions are very common among men, but they are not expressed openly for whatever cultural image they have or upgrowing. Mine was the macho image. Men don't just cry or spill out their emotions. No, they're the macho man, the one that's sturdy, the strong one. Now, there were key moments of the pregnancy that touched me deeply. At a doctor's checkup that we went to, he applied to my wife an amplifier, sound amplifier, to see if we could hear the heartbeat of my unborn son. As soon as I heard it, whew, my heart just swelled up with intense feelings. My only desire was to tell him, you are alive. You're audible. You're real. You are the miracle of life that is renewed in every little embryo that starts its journey of existence. Welcome, son. Feel awaited and loved even before you're born. This diary allowed me to capture month by month the feelings, emotions, the vision of becoming a father for the first time. Becoming conscious then, I declared to myself, we men should permit ourselves to express the feelings and emotions as we become expectant fathers. Now, obviously, a coming of a newborn son or to be born brings a lot of changes. That is undoubtedly, it happens. From then on, my unborn son, hidden presence, defined every aspect of our lives as a couple. We had to consider what we could or not do, which holidays to take or not, where to go out to eat, or whom to visit. To say it succinctly, he dramatically changed our lives in all we had done before as a couple. Our reaction was welcoming those changes and inviting him to keep on making them for us. To say it succinctly, he dramatically changed our lives in all we had done before as a couple. Our reaction was welcoming him and letting him to keep on making the changes. There were many more instances of how much change I was experimenting. I was psychologically, emotionally, energetically synchronized with my wife. It became evident in how I projected myself to others. A good example. One day I had to visit her former workplace, and one of her colleagues immediately asked me, "How is your wife doing with her pregnancy?" When I responded she was fine, the lady spontaneously exclaimed, "Now I know why you're happy. Why you look so happy." The reason, knowing that my son was developing strong and healthy and would be soon with us, that was sufficiently to make me happy. And people just noticed it. Another instance was the psychic connection I developed with my wife without controlling its effect. As my son's weight started growing and becoming heavier inside of her, she had to take a mid-morning, a midday, or a mid-afternoon nap to recover her energy level. When this happened, I could hardly keep my eyes open. It was as if a sledgehammer had hit me at that moment. Everyone in the office seemed to be able to understand what was happening because I looked like I was spaced out. And so they would tell me, "Reynaldo, go get yourself some sleep or take a break because we have to work and we need to have you awake." I thought this phenomenon was going to disappear. No way, it just became worse and worse and more intense. The changes in my unborn son were also constant and visible. One of them was how he manifested his presence by making belly bulges. My wife called me several times to come and see it, but I had missed it for whatever reason. But then this day, she said he was kicking very strongly to come and pay attention. I did that, I came, I stared for a while, and all of a sudden, this bulge of water, of a bulge comes from one side of the belly and goes all the way to the other end of the belly. But as it passes underneath the belly button, it makes a jump like he had pinched it. My reaction was just laughing, completely startled, but very happy about it. That's when I understood why my wife laughed when she saw it happen every time it did happen. It was like seeing her belly having a life of her own. My wife experienced this movement as an ritual of incredible force, vital force, of energy from our unborn son. She could even know when these movements were either a happy response or he was upset about something. Now, here comes another aspect of the pregnancy that we both experienced extraordinary. It was the love experience. Strongest lesson learned was that the love animates the whole creative process of a pregnancy. That my wife required an enormous love support so that she could handle and manage the pregnancy. The pregnancy then turned into a growing experience of love for the three of us. Being conscious of love's grander role made me a better expectant father. And I must share with you how I captured that moment very briefly. Welcome again, son. In love, we made you. In love, we follow each moment of your development as each month of the pregnancy went by. In love and with love, we will make every conscious effort to raise you to believe that the most important truth of life is loving others as you want them to love you. With this firm conviction implanted in your heart, we hope one day you will be ready to reproduce in your own life the love, life-giving experience of becoming a father, fully conscious of every moment of the pregnancy so that you can be totally immersed in the process of recreating your gift as a life bearer, life giver, life procreator. No greater gift is given to us humans. No greater treasure has been confined to us. The legacy that I have for my learned from all this experience was that this diary could become an actual book guide for my son for when he would become a dad. And thus, I turned it from a diary for myself into a book that I offer him. And then it is my recommendation that if you know of anybody that is going to become an expectant father for the first time, this probably is the best gift you can give to that first-time father. Thank you very much.